going on, everybody? It's Davin with Crispy, and I'm here at the Lifestyle Lounge in Miller Place in New York with my main man,
Jay Stizzy. Nice to meet you guys. How you guys
So
doing?
how did you get that nickname?
So,
Because
back in
Stizzy is a really good brand, so let's see what that story's about
Of
first.
course, I'd love to share that. So, back in high school, at this point, we are clear of that window. I was probably one of, if not the first people who actually introduced a lot of my friends and, my peers over to these Stizzy products because of how reputable.
West Coast or East Coast guy?
East Coast.
Nice.
Yeah. So, bringing, a little bit of both ends to, New York and everything like that. Wanted to get my friends smoking on, everything right, everything,
And what
good
year was this
quality.
about?
Back in high school, I'd say maybe 2017, 2019.
Okay, so cannabis was not legal yet.
Not at all, no.
And one of my favorite questions to ask to anybody who's been in cannabis for a long time, do you feel like it's changed at all for you, being a pothead? Like, because with me, I think the only thing that's really changed is I'm not looking over my shoulder anymore.
Definitely.
And being able, like, I was just supporting Jeff at the Ice Festival, beer in one hand and King Palm in the other, just token away, and
Yeah.
no one gave a shit.
Yeah, which is nice. It's safer, for one, cleaner, especially, and at least now you know who's making the grow. You know what I mean? So, with our mother brand, Holy Buddz, we work exclusively with Lumpy's Farms over in California. We are one of the, if not only, actual New York distributors that are licensed to work with them. And a lot of their strains we test ourselves, also in-house, just
Oh, you
because-
said my favorite word, strains.
Of course.
So what's your top five?
Top five?
Yeah, come on. Everyone's got those five that,
Yeah.
like, the moment you see them, you don't care where you're at, you're buying it, you're gonna smoke it immediately.
I'd say, honestly, number one, because it's going to be, in my opinion, the hardest to find, a genuine Gorilla Glue 4. That is
Very
one of
true.
the most beautiful, potent, very earthy tasting, great, high, everything like that. That's going to be my number one pick. Number two, we got to go with the LCGs. I love every single one that I've smoked personally. I've smoked a good amount of them. I've smoked, I believe, in LCG 12. LCG 42.
Now, for those who don't know, what does that stand for?
LCG is going to be a lemon cherry gelato cross strain. That's a mix of 3 strains into one.
Absolutely. If you haven't tried a lemon cherry gelato, definitely give that a try.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. After that, I'd have to say probably a strawberry cough.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm more of an indica smoker, but strawberry cough. If you ask me what is your number one favorite sativa,
Yeah.
it's strawberry cough. Like, that's in my actual top 5.
Yeah. It's actually beautiful. Every nug you get, the nug structure is immaculate.
And it sucks nowadays because it's hard to find.
Oh my God, you're telling me. I know.
Yo, growers, bring back some of the good classics.
Please do. Talking about Granddaddy Perp, Gorilla Glue 4, all the great strains. all the
Actual
legacy
sour
strains.
diesel. I don't want to hear New York sour diesel. I don't want to hear Terp sour. I don't want to hear anything else except for sour diesel.
Definitely.
Not OG. None of that. Just a good old-fashioned sour diesel.
Of course. Actually, that was going to be next up on my list, was a good old-fashioned 100% pure strain sour diesel.
Well, I feel like if you're a pothead from the local 631 or 516, sour diesel was just, I want to say what Long Island was known for at one time.
Definitely, yeah.
That and our haze.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget about the haze. The haze is actually...
Like we had, a couple of years ago, the solar haze movement, I feel
Yeah.
like. That was just like everywhere you went to, somebody had silver haze.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like dying out.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about this beautiful building here.
Sure, I'd love
The
to.
Lifestyle Lounge. What is its mission?
Well, its mission is to be the first and only of its kind. Being that our store is called Lifestyle, it is not just a store, but an actual lifestyle. What we would offer when customers come here is a one-of-a-kind experience to handpick your personal flower. you could roll it, or we would offer pre-rolls in every other sort of fashion, edibles, concentrates, cartridges, anything you guys could imagine. You guys could come in, one-stop shop, hang out, roll up, smoke up. God forbid you're one of those first-time smokers or just getting into the hobby. You can come here, come consume in a safe, clean environment that nobody else is offering.
Which I gotta say, first thing first, fuck you, Brookhaven. That's gonna be the first comment coming straight from my mouth, because I'm not affiliated, so I can say that. Because the reason why I'm saying that is the surrounding towns, this building, if they look it up online, has been, I want to say, very much like the story of cannabis.
Yes.
It is going through a serious, horrible, and I can't put that enough, the word horrible, actual battle going forward. Like, you guys have had what? PTA picketing. You guys have had what? MAD? Like, any sort of organization that could be ran by a Karen has came to this doorway and been like, fuck you guys. But how's that been? Like, that's gotta hurt.
It hurts, in all honesty, it does. But you also have to look at it from their perspective of, God forbid, one person were to leave here and accidentally get into an accident. That is something that happens all the time with bar businesses and everything under the sun. But
hold on, I just have a thought out there for that.
Go ahead.
Bars aren't held responsible.
You're right, they're not.
But you guys seem like you care more than what a bar does.
100%.
Something tells me if, let's say I brought a buddy here.
Sure.
My buddy comes back another day by himself and he's pretty fucked up. I feel like you guys would probably hit up an Uber or
Definitely.
Lyft and go the extra mile.
Of course, of course. Customer satisfaction is always going to be the most important priority that we stress here, and customer safety. We would never let a customer leave this premises intoxicated off of any type of THC product. God forbid that were to ever happen, and once, or hopefully, we do get the full go-ahead to make this an actual consumption lounge. I understand that, government officials don't want to push out lounges like they have hookah stores and hookah shops and everything like that just for the time being because they don't have a way to test for it. So unfortunately, like me or you, who could get on a sim at their house, you know what I mean, and drive a car on the sim perfectly fine, there are, for one of us, there are 100 other people that necessarily can't get on that same
I don't know. I'd
simulator.
be dabbing and smoking on my electric scooter going like
Exactly.
45 down 25.
Exactly. So,
Which I do not suggest anyone to do. I am a trained idiot and a professional idiot if you ask my wife. So, just saying,
of course.
But, once again, I'm also someone that has consumed hundreds of thousands of milligrams of edibles.
Yes.
Just to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to suggest anyone to ever do something like
No,
that,
never.
but...
Never.
So let's talk about the vibe here.
Sure.
You got some beautiful shirts.
That I do.
Let's talk about some of these, the different ones you guys supply.
So this one to my right here is going to be done and created by one of my owner's buddies. Actually, his name is Huncho. The brand is called Heartbreak Kids. He runs his own company, makes his own designs, prints them, screens them, and gets the blanks and makes everything in-house, which is technically produced all here in the USA. How many times do you hear that nowadays? Manufactured, produced, and executed in the USA, right?
None.
To my
That's
left,
insane.
yeah. To my left, we have my other buddy's brand, who's also a very good, close friend of my owner. His name is Striz. He created the brand Road Runner, as in we want to be running all over these roads when we have the possibility to, and the government allows us.
And how much are these shirts or hoodies?
I believe these shirts aren't too bad. I believe they're around $25, $30 a shirt. I believe the hoodies are a little bit more expensive. They're around, I forget the exact GSM. Honestly, I don't produce them, otherwise I'd have that on hand for you guys. But very thick, very warm. I personally have one at home that I wear a lot, especially during the winter, especially when it's colder. It's fleece lined, very insulated, very warm, keep you nice. These, I believe, go for around $75 to $80 for
And I
them.
gotta say, if you guys look at my shorts in the building, there is beautiful artwork everywhere you look here.
Thank
Like, it's definitely a vibe that I can get down with here.
Thank you.
So, what are you guys selling currently besides just clothes?
So, other than clothes, we're selling every single accessory that you can think about under the sun. Listen, guys, I'm not here to sell you anything, but if you live on Long Island, I do have the best price backwoods at under $8 after tax. So,
That's
not
not
many other
bad.
shops you're getting a pack of backwoods for anywhere less than $10, $10.25, something like that. So, if you guys are local, that is one thing I do specifically advertise, is that I do have the lowest price backwoods around.
And don't be a minor trying to come up in here and buy.
Not at all.
Please.
Please don't. We ID check as soon as you walk in that door. It's not gonna fly, especially when I'm here.
So, would you guys do any events here? Like any? Because I noticed you have the projector.
Yeah. So we're trying to do a whole bunch of different things. I actually have a list on my phone if you want to go through it with me real
Oh, I'm
quick with
down.
some ideas.
Shoot.
Sure. So, in the past, we've done for Easter. Last year, we actually did an Easter egg hunt in store. So,
In this store?
Yes, in this store.
Holy shit.
Had about 500 hidden eggs all around in different clothings, different pieces, everything like that. Anywhere that necessarily isn't behind the counter, you were allowed to go and allowed
And
to
what
look
was
for
in
an
the
egg.
eggs?
Different things. So some eggs had receipts for you'd get a free pack of wallpapers.
Oh, that's kind of dope.
Yeah, some eggs had discounts for clothing. Some had tickets, like when we used to do our church events with our mother brand Holy Buddz. We actually offered 2 grand prize tickets. You know how it has the poker
Oh, yeah.
experience that is like $300-400 a ticket. We actually offered 2 lucky winners. Whoever found 2 golden eggs would win both of those tickets to our next event.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we like to, give back to everybody that literally supports us and anybody who walks in the door. You could be from down the block or you could be coming here for however long we've been open, and we'll still be as generous as we were with anybody else.
So, what's some of the rules here?
Rules, unfortunately, which I'm trying to persuade the town to change, is a 15-minute rule via all customers. Unfortunately, which that entails is nobody can necessarily be in the building or on premises longer than 15 minutes besides staff, just because they don't want consumption going on property. You get what I'm saying? Just because we officially wanted to go for the consumption license and everything like that. So for the time being, we're allowed 15 minutes per customer. Obviously, since we're not allowed to open that, I will probably have a meeting with, the board and everything like that to discuss
That's a lot.
changing. Thank you. But, for in the future, I have a couple of things that I have planned out here. For Super Bowl Sunday, we want to do boards for everybody that, follows us on Instagram, over at our store's Instagram at Lifestyle Lounge 631 on Instagram. You could buy in on boards and have the possibility to walk out with some cake. Depends on how much you want to put in. I also have down, I personally have a tuned Q50, so I personally want to do something for the car community. I want to do like a cars and coffee, and my tuner said that he'd be open to doing something like that.
That'd be kind of different.
Different, right?
I like
I want to
that.
get different things.
You have a good sized parking lot or something like
That's
that.
what I'm saying. We have the whole parking lot, and then we have the warehouse as well. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So, but for that,
So, what type of car are you rocking?
Infinity.
Okay.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. But for that specific event as well, I also had an artist lined up that is very good friends with my boss, whose name is F.K. Marr. He's a very well-known artist, doing very well on Apple, Spotify, and SoundCloud currently, pulling about 22,000 to 30,000 streams per song I think he puts out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, not crazy popping to where I can't actually get in contact with him, but reasonably enough.
That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And then this year again, I personally want to do another Easter egg hunt. Everybody loved it last year.
Which, if they do, I'll probably be filming the event.
Hopefully he comes out for that one. That would be
Oh, I'm
great.
always down the road. Come on.
Sure.
I'll be
You're
local.
welcome anytime. Another thing that actually the community sent in for us, they sent in a couple requests. They sent in a bingo night, a comedy night, and a karaoke night. which I believe all three are absolutely great ideas. New York and Long Island specifically has bred comedy since before I've been born.
Oh yeah, no, it's.
So the comics out here, I would genuinely love to
And
give
most
a
of the comics I
spotlight
hear are
for them.
potheads.
Exactly. I'd love
I've
to
actually
give them
had a few
spotlight.
on my channel at times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yeah. Bingo night catered to not the older clientele.
And they're not allowed to technically smoke in here.
No, not currently. That is
So-
correct.
Let's say my wife
Sure.
is a non-smoker,
Mhm.
not the world's biggest fan of the smell of pot,
Of course.
per se. So she could come with, let's say, a girlfriend or two that doesn't smoke and actually enjoy the atmosphere.
Yes. Always
See,
have candles
that's something
burning.
different. That's not just like a lifestyle. That's more of a community lounge. Thing.
Definitely. We're here for the community, built by the community. Everything that we have in stock and on our shelves is what the community has asked us to put forth so far. I continuously ask every customer that walks in my door daily, what do you want to see on my shelves? Because my store is for you. It's not for me. It's not a cash grab. It's not something like every other shop. It's not none of that. It's literally, how can I make Miller Place / Rocky Point a better community as a whole?
That's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've done interviews over in Rocky Point with the Green Space CBD,
Yeah.
and they were going through a battle too. You know, to a point that I think they put on Narcan things to help
Yeah.
promote. But one thing people you really gotta understand is that the stigma that cannabis is a gateway drug, it's totally false.
Yes.
Everything they're taught you is pretty much false. I've never had the urge saying, hey, I smoked a blunt, let me go do some heroin.
Exactly.
I don't know, have you?
Can't say I have.
Like, I don't know. Like, like the only thing in danger of me doing is raiding the fridge.
Definitely. But it's also the same thing with alcohol. You know, it's all about that person's ability to consume and consume properly. You know what I mean? If
And that's
you
the biggest
overconsume-
issue.
Yeah, if you overconsume, obviously there are going to be adverse repercussions. You know, God forbid it's your first time taking an edible, and we've all been there, and we eat a little bit too much of the brownie or the cookie, and next thing you know, you're sitting in your bed and you're wondering what's going on. You know what I mean?
Well, with edibles, you gotta realize, people, they don't hit you the same way a
Exactly.
dab or
Exactly.
smoke hits you. It's about, from what I've seen, it's about a 3-hour window.
Definitely.
Or even longer, matters
Yeah.
how much food's in your stomach.
Yeah.
But one thing I always try to tell people, this is just from years of stupidity, with edibles, if you're feeling way too high, CBD will actually bring you back down and help you out.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a very personal question now.
Go ahead.
What's your views on the whole Hexal cannabinoids? Now, if you don't know what I'm referring to, I'll explain real quick.
Sure.
There's THCP, the HHC,
HHC,
all the
HHP.
gas station bullshit you see popping up. Like, what's some of your views about that with the community? Like, let's talk about. Because me personally, I'm against it. I think it's all chemical nonsense that doesn't grow enough of the plant, so it has to be synthesized. And I
Yes.
think that's very dangerous.
Personally, I agree 1000%. No offense, if I can't literally take the plant out of the ground as soon as it's done growing, dry it, and smoke it, it's not THC, as far as I'm concerned. HHC, Delta 8, Delta 10, you know, all
A
these,
new thing, a new THCA movement.
yeah, the THCA, all of those things they want to say are derivatives and are derived of the cannabis plant. Personally, I don't have enough research to sit here and literally tell you it's not or it is.
Well, I'll explain, because I've done a lot of research so far.
Sure, please.
With all those, it's in the plant, but you gotta look at this. It's in such a small percentage
Yeah.
that there's no way you could generate it without going synthesization, without synthesizing it.
Yeah.
And my personal views, like, and now you got like this whole thing online. Order weed online, delivered straight to your door.
Yeah.
because they're falling under THCA, which I think one thing people really gotta do is research before you guys go out and buy this crap.
Definitely.
Or come to a guy like him
Yeah.
to a lounge and talk to them and be like, hey, listen, I know you guys don't sell, but you have more knowledge than I. Can you steer me in the right direction?
Definitely.
Because as someone that has sadly tasted this other shit because of episodes and me trying to help people,
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking gross.
Is it?
And the highs are horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, my least favorite out of all those products
Mm-hmm.
is THCO. Have you heard of that one?
I actually don't think I've heard of that one, no.
Well, you want to laugh?
I'd love to.
Doesn't come from the plant at all. Do you want to guess who created it?
Who?
Guess what? Super honest, amazing place gave birth to it.
Oh, God, I couldn't even begin to guess.
U.S. government.
Oh, our
During the
lovely
Cold
friends.
War, look it up. Project Red Serum. They made a cannabis synthesization.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Red Serum because it would induce hallucinations, and their goal was to make a chemical warfare version of cannabis that would destroy the neighboring troops. And I was given some THCO when I was in Pennsylvania shooting an event,
Mm-hmm.
and I took it.
Yeah.
Never again. Never again. I don't get anxiety. I cause anxiety.
Yeah.
And I was literally like crippled. Like you're talking sweatshirts, 2 on. Like I'm looking for that hug.
Wow.
Like 2 weighted blankets. Whining to my wife.
Yeah.
Like, and just not wanting to deal with anything. Couldn't leave my bedroom for like 6 to 8 hours. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing what they'll legalize and what they won't, right?
It really is scary that they don't want this. Now, what really is scary to me, people, is you have a building like this, a safe place where stoners could gather, have fun, but because of corrupt people going against it because they can't make money off of it,
Yes.
put $1 million Robux. And to all those parents out there that you're worried that your baby girl or your baby boy is going to be dragged into this world, look where they go to school. I've been out of high school for a while, but back in 05, you know, we all knew someone that sold weed to us.
That is true. Yeah, there was always that one guy, you know.
But when you come into an establishment like this, people, you gotta realize the ID check, they're responsible for you.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
to me, I think it's a safer alternative than just going round and about being on the streets.
Definitely. Definitely. And, you know, obviously this is a building that you need to be 21 years or older
Oh,
to enter.
really?
Yes, because cannabis is under the same guidelines as alcohol, so you actually do have to be 21 years of age to possess or carry up to, I believe it is 3 ounces in New York.
Okay, yeah, you are correct.
Yes.
So I have a question for you then.
Of course.
What if someone has a medical card?
That's a little different. That is a little different. Medical patients we can take via whatever age they are because it's medicinal at that point. It is not just somebody looking to come into our shop and buy a joint to try out. You know what I mean? It's not somebody who's just looking to spark up and fade away. That's not what their mission at the end of the day is. When you're a medicinal client and you have a medical card, you have a legitimate reason to be using cannabis and to be consuming the plant matter itself.
Any tips, tricks, advice you want to give out?
Advice, personally, I'd like to say one thing. Shops like these will make these streets and places safer, count of the fact that you don't have people going to random strangers' houses, having to pay $30, $40 for whatever bag they're getting. Maybe you possibly get robbed out of your money. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of what ifs that happen with the closed-ended market of street dealing. When it comes down to legalization and allowing companies to actually serve patients on a legitimate basis, record sales, record inventory, keep track of customers that come in frequently, have ID checks, and go through all these laid out procedures, you eliminate a lot of the danger and a lot of the hassle that comes with these street dealers.
Well, one thing as I was a bartender,
Yeah.
on the res, one of the big things is people aren't really educated on what they're buying.
Yes.
And one thing I've noticed, and I know I'm going to get some hate for this, is the whole sprayed wave. I hate it. I
hate sprayed terpenes. If it's not real, you shouldn't be smoking it. Listen, there are no packs, there are no flavors, there are no nothing that are called Fanta Orange or Marshmallow Sunrise or Graham Cracker Cookies. That's just not realistic now. If we want to talk about actual strains like we did before, we're talking about Sour Diesel, ATF, you know. Like
trust me, there are strains out there that are just so delicious on their own.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Exactly. Where you don't need any of the pesticides, the harmful chemicals, and the harmful sprays that you're smoking and ingesting into your lungs. Listen, no anything going into your lungs besides oxygen is good for you. Why not at least make it the cleanest route possible to ingest anything if you choose to ingest something?
Because I had a very interesting conversation when I was bartending with one of the workers,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to the person, I said, when you're describing weed to me, why do you keep saying the word terps?
Yes.
I said, do you actually understand what a terpene is?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, oh, it's this. I'm like, no, it's actually what gives everything its taste and sense.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with that. And she's like, well, with sprayed, you're getting it's all terps. I'm like, it's a different type of terp. It's not the best thing
It's
for you.
terps.
Oh, it is. It's street.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
to be honest, people, all you're doing, I'm going to lift the curtain a little bit of what I've seen in the industry. All these spray shitters, it's the most shittiest weed you can find.
Yes.
And they either color it. Have you seen that shit yet?
That's bad.
That shit's scary.
Yeah. Not only are you smoking flavor, you're smoking dye.
And you're just coloring it, and it's no.
Yeah.
It's like we've already learned with K2 back in the day that this shit's not right. I personally think that's more K2 than it is actual Bud, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything, in all honesty, that's not coming from a licensed source or a licensed vendor, to me at this point in time is scary, because how fast the cannabis culture itself is growing. Everybody wants to get
It's the
in.
Wild West.
Yeah. Everybody wants to get in where they fit in, and for some people, unfortunately, that is selling sprayed packs, that is middlemaning, that is undercutting the consumer, and at the end of the day, maybe giving them health complications. But when you allow stores like us to actually open our doors, do what we're here to do what we plan to do in a safe, calm, cool, collected environment, you will mitigate a lot of those risks. How many calls on a daily basis probably go out to emergency services about somebody freaking out because they smoked a joint for the first time? I couldn't tell you the amount of numbers. You know what I mean? So
My wife's cousin smoked with us the first time,
yeah,
and I'm a very heavy dabber. Like,
Fair
it's
enough.
bad. I'm being respectful right now because I'm not supposed to be smoking in here.
which I appreciate.
Thank you. Because if you ever saw my kitchen, my living room table, you would be like, God damn, what the fuck did I let into my business? He hit a dab for the first time.
Yeah.
And what most people don't realize is how actually potent.
Yes. Yes.
And we had 2 bathrooms in the house, thank God, because he locked himself in the bathroom for about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
and refuse to get out of the bathroom.
Yeah. So things like that happen on a day-to-day basis. Just because myself, himself, or yourself behind the camera don't see it and it doesn't happen to you, doesn't mean it's not happening to somebody else. So when you open the avenue to give places and shops the allowance to take care of and provide safety for each one of their individual customers and individually pick a amount for that person to smoke. God forbid you came in here and you told me, hey man, I haven't ever smoked before. When we fully opened, let's make that very clear. No cannabis is ever being sold here until we are fully open. We're not one of them gas stations that are gonna sell you some booth. We wanna do it legitly and legitly only. So let's say when we were fully open, you came in and you told me, hey man, I've never smoked before. I wanna try a pre-roll for the first time. What do you recommend? Do you recommend 1, 2, 3? How crazy should I go? Honestly, I'd only recommend one pre-roll. I'd say maybe sit down, take 4 or 5 drags off of it, see how you feel. Don't over push yourself, because once you start to push yourself, that's when you start
I
to
would
really
recommend
go.
a 0.5. I would recommend the
Exactly.
lowest
Exactly.
pre-roll I can find,
Exactly.
because we're working on the res,
Yeah.
and that out there is the Wild West,
Yeah,
all on its own.
definitely, yes.
Because there's no actual like monitoring,
Yeah,
different world.
definitely.
But like you get people coming in and they'd be like, "Oh, I didn't get high. I ate up a cookie like 10 minutes ago," and I'm like,
Have fun.
"Go
getting-
home."
Yep.
Why? Go home, put on some cartoons, and just get ready.
Yeah.
You ate that whole cookie.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? Take an eighth of that cookie. You've
Yep.
never done an edible before.
Yep.
Person will come in 2 days later. Yeah, I ate the whole bag of flakes. How high were you? My wife wanted to kill me.
Definitely, definitely. Actually, one of my homegirls had a bad experience with edibles for one of the first times she took one. I'm not certain if you're too familiar with like the airhead bites,
Yes.
but she had eaten.
That's all sprayed shit.
Yeah, but she had eaten one of those bags and actually was high for 2 days and could not function. So there are levels to everyone's capability when it comes to cannabis, and everybody's different.
The only time I woke up stupid high for more than 2 days was after my birthday. About 3 years ago, the theme of the birthday party was Get Christian Stupid High. I just went through a massive mouth surgery, like lost about a quarter of my foot, and I'm friends with a whole bunch of canna chefs.
Mhm.
You can imagine what they did.
Oh, I could, yeah.
Hash rosin drinks,
Oh, Jesus.
gallons. And of course me, I'm like, I'm in pain.
Yeah.
And I think one of my friends scared another one of my friends that party. Like it got creepy for a little bit. But I think I actually ended up in my bedroom as people were leaving,
Mm-hmm.
me trying to sleep while my Jamin the Jew was torturing my poor wife. Which is the only person that can bring out like Bridezilla out of her
Yeah.
was him. Like the only person. Not even me.
Yeah.
Not even a vendor. One of my best friends just had to poke the bear, you know? Had to. Just
Of
stupid.
course, of course.
But like even in those circumstances, if you are feeling like that, CBD will help you.
Definitely.
And
yes.
it doesn't like take 3 seconds. It's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
a little bit, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna get better.
Yes, 100%.
And drink plenty of water.
Definitely. Please don't go smoking, ingesting, consuming, dabbing, putting on patches, whatever it may be that you choose to get your fix
I
with
actually like the
cannabis.
pizza patches. I've actually seen that.
I have too recently, so I want to include that in there. Always make sure to eat, stay very well hydrated, because from a smoker to a smoker, you're going to get cotton mouth, and you are going to get hungry. So make sure you have snacks prepared, you're in a nice environment, cool, safe, doing what you need to do, and stay away from machinery, guys. Don't get behind the wheel, don't get behind, like he said, he's a trained professional. Don't get behind the wheel of a scooter, a bicycle, rollerblades, anything that could genuinely cause harm to yourself, that's not what we would want for anybody.
Yeah, if you ever see a scooter going down the road going like 2 miles per hour, it's probably my stoned ass on a scooter. Because that's how fast I go when I'm like
You
that.
got
Like,
the little hazards on and shit.
oh, everything. Like, and there's a group of us, and I'll
Yeah.
be like in the back of the group, and I'm like, oh, so long as I keep following my friends. As long as I keep following my friends.
Yeah, definitely.
But people, this is a very communalized drug, like herb.
Of course.
It really is. Like, it's one that I say all the time. It's the only thing I've ever found that can stop a fist fight in like 2 seconds.
100%.
I've seen two people ready to kill each other, and someone pulled out a joint and they started talking. And by the end of the joint, they didn't know why they were angry.
Exactly.
And they became like good friends.
Right.
I witnessed it. It's an amazing
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. God forbid you have some fire and the guy next to you is beefing with you. You're like, hey man, let's go outside and let's have a smoke real quick. You're both gonna forget about what just happened.
Oh, I've done that so many times.
And it's completely different from alcohol. Alcohol is gonna intensify those emotions. You know what I mean? You're gonna start sitting there and thinking, is he calling me an asshole? Am I an asshole? Am I this? Am I that? Weed doesn't do that. Weed
No, it doesn't.
literally calms
If
everybody
anything, it
down.
makes you more agreeable.
Yeah, 100%. Why do you think everybody during the 60s and 70s was so happy? Everybody was
Fact,
having
come
fun.
on.
Everyone was having fun. You know.
We're in New York. We are now being called the Empire State.
Literally.
Let's really start living up to that, New York. Like,
Yeah.
let's start getting some nice social lounges going.
Yeah.
Let's make cannabis great again.
For sure.
So I'm going to ask you one of my favorite questions
Of
now.
course.
This is a personal question.
Love them.
What is your favorite way to smoke? And what is your favorite thing to smoke? Like, me personally, you're going to find this very amusing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't roll for shit. If you pulled a gun on me right now and said, I'm going to shoot you,
Yeah.
if you can't roll a good joint, you're probably going to end up unloading that clip on me. So I am mostly an E-rig
Nice. Nice.
or glass kind of guy. When
Nice.
I'm just smoking, I love that glass.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Me too. Personally, I'm very well decisive. I really don't pick too much. I did actually have a Puffco Guardian. Unfortunately, that broke. Yeah, unfortunately, that broke not too long ago. The base actually stopped charging, so it wasn't even like I could.
Do you still have that?
I do. My warranty's expired.
I'm gonna give you somebody's number.
Sure.
I had a Puffco actually break on me,
Yeah.
and I sent it off to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, fixed it.
I was gonna say it's only like 2 years old, to be honest. So
Yeah,
it's
he'll definitely
only
know
a
what
year
fix it
out
most
of the
likely.
warranty.
I'll give you his info.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah,
But-
no, I love my Puffcos.
Yeah, they're amazing. But other than that, in all honesty, I do have a bit of a glass collection myself. I have about 8 to 10 pieces at home. Honestly, at this point, they kind of just collect dust. I'm more of a paper smoker at this point. I did have my phase with, Backwoods, J. Frontos, J. Grabas, all of that. But at this point, like I told you guys before, if you can smoke in the cleanest way possible besides glass, papers are going to be one of the cleanest alternatives, especially raw. Raw has been my go-to since I've started
Oh,
smoking.
they're amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Personally, I smoke the raw blacks. The ethereals I find are a little bit harder to roll, especially the raw black hemps. I don't like those. Those are way too thin for me.
Okay.
Those I work way too much. Josh wasn't lying when he said for skilled rollers only on that pack. So
No.
be careful with those ones. But the raw blacks are a literal great middle ground for somebody who's looking for a little bit of a thinner paper and just that little bit much more of flavor from their smoke.
One of these days, we gotta get him to do a sesh with me,
Of course.
so we could show him some different ways I love to smoke.
Would love to.
Because lately, I'm on a thermal extraction kick.
Yeah.
So you know what that kind of means?
For the most part, yeah. I'm
Right.
I'm familiar with like BO2, hash oil extractions.
No,
spice
that's just
extractions.
kind of a little bit different.
Is it?
Like
Lightly.
ball vapes. You ever see ball
yes,
vapes?
Yes.
That's a thermal extraction. I've been on a wave with that lately. Like a lot of the devices I've been picking up is powered by butane,
Nice.
and it's just either glass or like something heating it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then go right to water filtration, and it's some of the best tasting I've ever found.
So
before.
my question with that is, do you get a butane taste? Because sometimes when I'm using like a torch to light my glass, I get a little bit of a butane
No, it's
taste.
totally different.
Really?
So, like, one device I just got in, it's called the Terpsicle.
Nice.
You put the bud in,
Mm-hmm.
you put this giant quartz tube on it, and you're heating the quartz tube around it.
Nice.
So you're actually decarbing the bud. You'll actually see it
Okay.
from green to brown
Okay.
as everything comes off. Same thing with ball vapes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I've been barely doing that because one thing I wanted to do in the last year was 2024. I wanted to get away from butane.
Yes.
For flower, I had to get away from it.
Yes.
To me, it was killing the taste. I love smoking a bong, but to me, the taste was just not there. And I own so many vapes for dry flower. Like, I have a Volcano, a Mighty. You pretty much name it, odds are I sadly own it. But with this year coming up, like, I just got this thing. I'll bring it in to show you this week. It's called the Clean Torch.
Sure.
It actually heats everything up. So if you smoke like papers or bongs, you go light it with that
Nice.
without any butane. So it gives like an amazing taste.
You want to get some of those in the store?
I'll hook you up.
Please.
I've been I'm gonna eventually fly out to California to meet the owner.
Word.
As much as me and him talk lately.
Nice, nice.
But one of my goals this year is to like fully find out like the best type of butane torch
Yeah.
to use for some of my torch powered vapes. Like I have Dynabaps. Did you ever hear of them?
I have, yes, I'm familiar with
They're
those.
very good. That's another
Yeah.
thermal. Like, so with those with me is I understand the science behind what different temperatures can do.
Yes.
Like at 428, you have more THCV, which is appetite suppressant and anti-inflammatory.
Nice.
Me, I'm always swelling up because my issues with my feet, my legs swell up sometimes. Hard for me to walk. Some days you guys will see the cane in the video, other days you won't. And that just matters on mostly my smoking. Like if I smoke certain types of ways,
Yeah.
temps everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. You're a glass guy also. What is some of your favorite glass?
We'll go top three because
Okay.
I love a lot of glass. I gotta go Medicali, Rock, and probably Graf. Three
Okay.
main suppliers, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like Iladelph. Iladelph's gonna be on the more expensive side, obviously. You know, it's
Yeah,
the custom glasses, everything like that. I could love a heady piece, you know what I mean, from custom shops that make them, custom people that make them.
Oh, I love. I
Trust
love
me, I've
glass.
been sitting here looking at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, for like manufacturer wise, definitely Medicali, Rock, and Graf. Those are.
See me, I'm more of a good old fashioned American glass blower. Hit them up. Hey, listen, I got a budget of X, Y, and Z. What can you make for me? What can you
Yeah.
do? And you'd be surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
And here on the island, we got one of the nicer glass studios.
Yeah.
We have Long Island Glass, which
Yes.
is. Have you been down there?
I personally haven't. My boss has a few times though.
It's worth checking out.
Yeah.
They got some beautiful glass.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
And if you smoke dabs, their bangers are.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Nice.
I own one or two. I like them.
Nice.
But alright, so with dabs,
Yeah.
what's your favorite way to dab?
It's gotta be the puff cup, man.
Okay.
It's just, it's so easy, and for
Oh,
the
it
time
is.
that I had it, it was so reliable. You know, especially with, I don't know if the regular Pro has the app. I know the Guardian does come with the app.
All Peak Pros have the app.
Okay. So.
It's just like with Guardians or limited edition ones.
Yeah.
It's just they have a different background, I think.
Yeah. But the app, absolutely amazing. Puffco went through the roof with that, with the amount of engineering and time and creativity that went into that, between changing your colors, your functionality, your heat profiles.
Have you
even
done
down
it
to
with a
the
3D
names.
XL chamber yet?
Yes, I have.
So you know you can actually now control the vapor
Yes.
of
Yes.
performance.
Yeah. Max Vapor, let me tell you, they will chuck, and they are fun. But I did also have a about yay high recycler for a little bit. That was fun too. Personally, I would say I'm bigger fan of the Puffco just because it's less harsh. You know what I mean? It's cooler temp. It's not like you're sitting there with the torch. God forbid, I don't know what fucking degree it is. Something like that.
I'll be honest with you.
Mm.
For Christmas, my wife got me this.
Mm-hmm.
The Aries from Focus V.
Yeah.
I have a Carter. I barely touch it.
Yeah.
This thing, I love it because of the Bluetooth quality.
Yeah.
And it's so much more portable.
Nice.
But I love Puffco.
Yeah.
I own everything Puffco, from the Proxy to the Peaks.
Yeah.
It's a revolutionary device.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I gotta say, I do love my bangers.
Definitely. Can't forget
Turf
about 'em.
slurps and blunders all day.
Oh yeah, you can't forget about them. They're great.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
So what other type of stickers do you guys sell here? You have a huge selection of
Yeah.
papers.
So, actually, unfortunately, currently sold out of Bob Marley's. I know a lot of people love Bob Marley papers. Unfortunately, I am sold out of those. Should have those back in stock ASAP. Other than that, I do always keep stocked Elements, raw papers. We work exclusively with Tum Tums because he is one of the friends of my boss. So we actually have
Very kind guy, awesome guy.
absolutely amazing.
When I was doing WeTube and shit, he
Mhm.
was always blessing and
yeah.
coming by. He was great.
Yeah, absolutely amazing guy. But other than that, we keep his Tum Tum papers in stocks, Vibes, and a whole bunch of other ones that, in all honesty, I can't name off the noggin here too much. But honestly, anything and everything you're looking for and anything you want, I can keep in stock as long as
You
there's
come in and buy it.
yeah, you know, I mean, respectfully, the first time you come in and you ask me like, can you get Pineapple Games? Let's say they have Pineapple Games, and I don't see it for 3 weeks. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna get those Pineapple Games in for you. But if you come in once a week, once every 2 weeks, I'll have what you want in stock because at least you're coming in, you're supporting me, and I'll support you back. You know what I mean? I have
Definitely.
no problem doing that.
So what's some, let's say, ways to come in, ways not to come in? Like what's
Definitely.
what's some of that? Like what's like some of the ways people should, like when they come in here, how should they be? Like
Well, I mean, first of all, if you're walking in the door, you're a grown man or woman, so you should know how to conduct yourself in public. This isn't a frat house. This also isn't some place to come and make a mess of. Treat this place like you would treat your own home, because we will treat you like family when you are here. We will take care of you. We will provide anything that you need
Now-
here.
one thing when I was working,
Yeah.
I absolutely hated was when people came in thinking just because it's a place they can just light up a cigarette.
Honestly, we don't have too many issues with that. A lot
Oh
of our
God,
people.
you lucky.
Yeah, a lot of our customers are very, conscious and they know our rules and they're very nice to us, because like I said, we're very nice to everybody that walks in the door. So there's a mutual level of respect. I'm not gonna necessarily say something if you're outside smoking a cigarette or smoking, a cigar, whatever you choose to smoke. I'm not gonna bust your balls about it as long as, you're not in my store smoking or doing anything that you shouldn't be. You know what I mean? But it's a mutual line of respect. You respect me, I'll respect you back.
I love it.
Of course.
Anything else you want to talk about today?
Not too much. I mean, like you had said, you love the artwork before. I do want to give a shout out to the artist behind all the artwork that is actually in the store. His name is Buddz. Very, very well known spray paint artist out of the city. Done all of the artwork on the walls, all of the monster photos, all of the graffiti all along, everything like that. He's helped us tremendously with everything that we've tried to get going here. Also, I do want to give another shout out to Buddz. He's going to be hosting, most likely, I'm going to say most likely because I don't want to put it 100% out there, but I'm trying to get in contact with him to host a Piff and Paint. Piff and Paint.
Oh,
you
that'd
pay
be
about-
amazing.
Exactly. You pay about $30, 2 hours with him, get about 5 to 6 different canvases, and you get to have the time of your life, learning how to do different types of graffiti, different types of artworks, art styles, anything that you can imagine while learning how to paint and just have fun.
I'm friends with a couple of beautiful graffiti artists.
Nice.
So, like always, everybody, I'm Chris P. You can follow me on Instagram of Dabbing with Chris P. Or on my Facebooks, Beards, Buds, and Bongs, or Dab Tags and Bong Reps, and you guys can be followed at.
Lifestyle Lounge 631 on Instagram and Facebook.
Alright, everybody, stay elevated.